We're here for another one.
Another one.
Another one. And another one. My DJ Khaled voice?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Does not?
No. Good effort, though. Good effort.
I don't know how to do a DJ Khaled voice. What's up? We're here.
We're here.
We're here for another one. We are in the new year.
We are in the new year.
2022.
Happy 2022.
There we go. There we go. We excited for things coming this year and all the fun stuff that's potentially coming our way.
Yeah.
So, I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
And really excited. I don't know how else to describe it. We're excited.
Yes.
But we are. I'll say it again because you said it last time. It's gonna be a good show tonight. It'll be a good show.
It's gonna be a great show.
It's gonna be a great show. You're doing a good job. You're doing a real good job. For sure. Like, subscribe, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, all that stuff. Yep. Gotta say it. Gotta do the plug because we sponsor ourselves right now. So
it's important.
Yes, it's quite important. But we are gonna touch on relationships.
Relationships, yeah.
And from the aspect of like relationships we keep as a couple, as a family, right? Like not a specific you and me, but like friends we have, things like that. How we choose friends, why we choose friends.
Yeah.
And I know we've mentioned it previously, but we have like our inner circle, our circle of trust, per se.
Gosh, it sounds awful.
But just like our inner circle, and there's like layers to this, right?
Yeah.
It's like an onion. You got to peel back some layers, and people fall in different aspects.
Categories,
yeah,
for sure.
but like what are some of the reasons that we do some of those things?
So I'll speak for myself.
Yeah.
And it's happened to both of us. We've been hurt by some friendships, mainly because, we not expected stuff out of them, right? But we gave a lot of ourselves thinking, oh, the feeling was mutual, or the relationship was mutual, not the feeling. The relationship was mutual. And so, when we went into that, it was very one-sided, or we didn't see them, or whatever it was, where we thought we're supposed to be cultivating this relationship. We're supposed to be doing life together. And we're not really doing life together. Right. They needed us for a season, whatever that was. And we came out of that hurt. Yeah. And so that is a big part of the reason why we choose the way we choose, and how we choose, and how we're very methodical about it. Yeah. But when we go in all the way.
For sure.
But yeah. And I think, past history for me, it's, same thing, just being hurt all the time. I put my all into friendships, and I love hard. And you know what I mean? Sometimes I don't like a lot of people, but when I do like those people, I like them a lot, and I'm there for them. And so,
we like you too.
Thanks. Kind of like you too. I've been around this long.
Yeah.
So, it can do something to somebody when you've been hurt that much, and it can cause you to put up some walls, and or also make you have not the right people around you. It makes you act a certain way. And I learned that about myself, that I can't be around specific people because of how I respond and where it puts me mentally. Right. So I had to really learn how to get rid of those type of people in my life. Yeah. So
I think that's so good, because as your husband, I had to learn things that I don't want to say triggered you, but people that you could and could not be around, that were good for you and were not good for you, which also worked into like who we could have as friends, because especially being a married couple, like you want to have married couple friends, like married friends, like kind of marriage 101 tip, like married man should not be, hanging out with a bunch of single guys. ways, and
not that there's anything wrong
yeah,
with it.
not that you can't have single friends or whatever whatnot, but I'm just saying like it's not the best environment because single guys can do things differently that married guys can't, and vice versa. Single women can do things that married women can't. So it's like you want to find mutual friends, so you're finding those common bonds and different things like that. And I had to learn like, and same vice versa is like, hey, what are environments that you're in that make you uncomfortable? What are people, the way they act, different things like that make you uncomfortable, or take you back to a place where you're not trying to go, or where you don't need to go, or that's unhealthy for you mentally or whatever. And to be able to learn that and then identify that moving forward as we are trying to find friends, because you move to a new city or a new church or new job or anything like that, like you're trying to find friends and people to hang out with, whatever, but it matters.
Well, also, you go into this as a married couple. You had your friends before I ever came along.
Right.
So, and I didn't have a lot of friends. So it wasn't, it was very one-sided, but it was a learning curve for me. You guys have already had these memories together. You have known each other for X amount of years. You've shared XYZ. So it's like, it's the new girl coming in. It's the new person coming in. So it's off balance when you come in as a married couple, learning about his friends and her friends and who they are, because you weren't always there. You weren't always a part of the story.
Right.
So that's hard. So finding friends mutually together, I think, is important.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It definitely is. And it's a part of that growing process of like that two becoming one. Like that's a part of learning new things about each other. Right. And I just, they talk about, look at the sum of the 5 people around you, and that'll give you a picture of, where you're headed or where you're going.
Right.
And we took that pretty seriously.
Over the last, I'm going to say 7 years.
Yeah. For the folks we keep super close around us. And it is for all the reasons that you've mentioned of past hurts, things like that we look out for. And it is because like we're focused and we have goals and we have places we want to go, and we have, we want to see our family in a certain place and our kids in a certain place. So it's like, hey, we want to be around people who are, where we are or ahead of where we are, really.
Right.
That has set a good example.
Well, let's break it down. So when we talk about our friends, and I'm sure people are like, what do you mean? So not that we categorize them, right? But we have a very, what is it? Simple way of like how we see the people in our lives. Right. So we break it down with, are they acquaintances? Are they people that just need us to counsel? Are they are they single people that we're counseling one-on-one? Or is it somebody that we've met individually that we're just counseling them?
Right.
Are they someone that maybe we need to feed off of to learn more about ourselves, right? And then is this a person that God's really said, hey, these core people, this is somebody that needs to be in your life.
Somebody we need to invest in, or they need to invest in us.
Investment in us. They're challenging us. They're growing us, and vice versa. There's commonalities. There isn't, this is somebody that's going to grow us. In all areas of our life. And this is a season of, for however long God says that we need to have them in our lives, we need to be all in. Right. So those are, I guess, our breakdowns of where we place people. Yeah. That sounds so rude. But place you,
I think that's especially,
we had to do that.
Yeah. Especially, I've seen a lot of folks with, moving into 2022 and they're like, I'm gonna, protect my peace, and I'm gonna, watch out for my energy and stuff like that. And that's really just a makeshift way to say that same thing. Like I'm being more choosy about who my friends are. I'm being more choosy about who I keep around me and who I keep company with. It's just, we figured it out beforehand.
and how we do that is, I mean, we have really been, as far as methodical, we really pray about the people that are around us. Like that's big. And it's a conversation that we do regularly have when we meet people
Yeah.
is, who are they?
Yeah.
Who are they to us?
Yeah.
Because right now you are just here.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Right. You
Yep.
are just my client.
Yep.
You are just Mark's coworker.
Yeah.
You know, this is just a couple we met. And
Yeah.
so we really do, we found that because it wasn't like, oh, we're going to pick, we think that's how we got in the mess we've been in. Oh, she's my friend.
Yeah.
And there's hurts. And it's not that you would never fight. You'll never have hurts. But there's those hurts that come out of it. And you're like, man, I thought you were my real friend.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we would think those things. So the only way, I guess, that we were able to really place people was really praying about people in our lives.
Yeah.
And the people that we've kept in our lives up until this point, too, to say, where's the boundary? Is there a boundary?
Oh, for sure.
Is there people that are just, maybe this was just a season, and it made it a lot easier emotionally to be like, okay, you're just an acquaintance.
Yeah.
That's cool. Or you just needed us when you were in spiraling mode.
Yeah.
And you needed somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I was your go-to person that you needed just somebody to vent to.
I think that word that you just said is the key is boundaries. Like
Yeah.
we set up different boundaries for different people.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, like you said, there are some folks that have a lot more access to us than others.
Yeah.
And those are the ones who are close to us. We invest in them, they invest in us.
Right.
And it's one of those like, hey, we probably will run into some disagreements, but there's a mutual understanding
Yeah.
between both parties. Like, hey, you're worth it.
Mm-hmm.
We're worth it. And we're going to invest in, if we do have arguments, we're going to work through this to
Right.
figure it out and get back on solid footing, because this is a relationship that we both want. And
Yeah.
those are the people that it's like, I'm going to move things around and really shift my schedule for
Yeah.
and things like that. Like if you need something, I'm going to figure out a way to be there for
Right.
you, you know, and then you have, you know, you move a little bit further outside of that and it's
Yeah.
we're friends and things like that. But you may not, like if we don't plan something, you may not and probably won't get the spur of the moment,
Yeah.
unplanned type of, hey, okay, I can be there real quick for you, because then that like shifts stuff with my family, it shifts stuff
Right.
with my wife, you know, and then puts like when you invest time in one place, it gets sacrificed somewhere else.
Right.
And it's always like, is the sacrifice worth it? And some of them are,
Yeah.
and some of them aren't. And that's,
Right.
you know, basically how we try to figure this out,
Yeah.
you know, moving forward. And it's just,
You know, I've always been quick to be like, you hurt me, I'm cutting you off. You're
Yeah.
dead. You're dead to me.
yeah,
I don't know you. I don't want to talk to you. I can easily walk by you like I've never met you in my life.
Yes.
That's just how I've always been. And I've learned to, you know, figure out early on that prevented a lot of, I mean, I could still walk away from somebody, but in a healthy way.
right.
Walking away from somebody. And there were people that they were so toxic I couldn't walk away from because I just didn't know how to. You've been in my life for X amount of years.
Yeah. That's a tough
how
one.
do you just walk away from somebody that you thought was your friend?
Right.
Yeah, you've hurt me. Okay, we've had differences.
Yep.
But essentially, like, you really mattered to me.
Yeah.
So then to walk away from something like that, to have to really sit back and be like, man, you really were toxic. Like, you put me down.
Yeah.
You really put me in a bad headspace. You know, one thing I can't, like, I grew up having very low self-esteem. That's always been a challenge for me, having, you know, body issues, whatever it was. So one of the, like, the type of people that I cannot have, that I have chosen many, many years ago. And I think I've always said, like, I've said this a lot, that I work really hard to get rid of these type of people in my life. But people that talk down on themselves.
Yeah.
That's really bad for me.
Yeah.
I can't just ignore it.
Yep.
Right. It puts me in a spiral. I'm really bad about listening to somebody and taking on their hurts. Or like other females, oh my gosh, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah.
And I would take that on myself, or keep looking at myself and who I am and how I dressed, and comparing that it spiraled me.
Yeah.
Essentially. And it's like, it's a black hole. And I had to learn I could not have that in my life.
Yeah.
You know, after having kids and looking at myself a certain way, and saying, you know, that I love who I am. I love my body. I love who created me, essentially. And it's like, I needed to get back to that place because I lost that. And so when women around me that talk so negative about themselves. And it's culture. We do that.
Yeah.
We compare. We're on Instagram. We're looking at pictures. We're looking at filters and we compare. We we're in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
We are in a whole sport that we pay money for somebody to compare us to the next person.
Yeah.
And so having to learn how to balance that and to say that does not define me.
Yep.
That was hard. That was hard. And so when I'm around women that are always talking about what's wrong, I cannot.
Yeah.
I can't be.
It drains you.
It drains me. And then I come back and I'm talking about myself.
And then I'm trying to talk to you and talk you out of your headspace. I'm like, whoa, what happened? What's going on?
And I think the realization I think it was when Tatum was little and he started hearing me talk about how fat I am and started repeating it.
Yeah.
And then having a little girl and, I never want to look back and I never want him to have to be the person because you couldn't do it for me.
Yep.
Right. I had to find who I was in Christ, not just who does Mark see me as.
Right.
And you have to pull me out of this funk because you couldn't be that for me.
Right.
So looking at that is I never wanted my boys to ever be that be a supportive partner, be a loving husband, but never have to have your wife or your partner, your spouse depend on you to pull them out for validation.
Yep.
And then having to have my daughter look at herself and not love who she is. That was it for me.
Yeah.
And so I try very hard to be like, well, nope, red flag.
Yep.
That's one person I cannot be around.
Yeah.
I cannot talk to them. Or I just have to walk away from the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I can't be around it.
Yeah.
So those are the type of people that I just cannot, I know
right.
will spiral.
Yeah.
Will spiral me out of control.
Yeah.
And it takes me a long time to pull out of that. So.
And that's huge, being able to have the intestinal fortitude to be able to.
That's a big word.
To be able to. That's my big word for the day. I don't think
I ever use big words.
I don't know. It's just part of my vocabulary.
I need to start reading a vocabulary book. the vocabulary word I learn it.
We'll start a word of the day and have to use it in a sentence every day.
Because you be using big words, and I'm like, why didn't you just say this?
Because that's how my brain works. So,
okay,
being able to have, I say intestinal fortitude or courage or however you want to put it, to be able to walk away from those type of situations, from those type of relationships, when you. Especially when you identify it, to be able to say, we've been in this for a minute, but I now see this ain't healthy for me. This is not good, and either as a couple, like, hey, I know we've been hanging out with such and such, but I'm starting to see some things and I don't think it's good for us in the long run. Yeah. How do we begin to push that back or step that back? Because nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings, or nobody wants to.
But high five. Let me shout out. High five. Let's high five.
High five.
Know why?
Why?
Because I can blame you and be like, listen, Mark doesn't want me to hang out with you. And I know you'll have my back and be like, yep.
I'll take it.
Right.
I'll take it. But that's the one thing, like,
it's true, though.
Confrontation don't bother me.
It doesn't bother
confrontation, like, the only person I don't like to get into confrontation with is you. And that's just because I love you, I love our marriage, and I don't want to hurt you with what I say and in conversation, different stuff like that. Now, I don't want to hurt anybody else either. However, I don't have the same affection for anybody else as I do for you. Right. I'm like, hey, let's go for it.
There's a freedom in it, man. When I finally said enough is enough, or I made the choice to say I'm not going to be around this type of person.
Yeah.
There was a freedom in that. And I think also the older I've gotten, the more I just don't care.
Yeah.
And the more I've been able to speak up. Because I hate confrontation. Mm-hmm. I hate hurting people's feelings.
Yep.
I would rather just walk away from you and never talk to you again. I don't have to handle my business with you. I don't want to have this long, drawn out conversation. Yeah. You did what you did. You hurt me. I don't like you. You're dead to me. Let's walk away. We part ways, and I never have to talk to you again. We'll see each other.
That's one way to do it.
That's what I used to do. I felt like it worked great for a really long time until it was like, you need to face this head on. Yep. Until we started praying about our friends. Yeah. Until I started saying, you know what? it is unfair.
Yeah.
To not have the conversation with somebody and not give them.
Just ghost them.
Just ghost them. I mean, I wouldn't say ghost. I would say just let them go as a friend. Move on.
That's a nice way to put it.
Just move on.
Okay.
But I was talking to my friend the other day. And we're talking about friends in our past, you know, and how I was like, you know, because she was really hurt by a couple of people. I was like, man, you have a really awesome heart to just be like, well, maybe they've changed. Like that's not like, I do believe people change.
Absolutely.
I believe people grow. We are some of those people.
We're the product of that.
We are the product of that. And it's like, man, these women really hurt you. And I have a really hard time with women relationships because
been hurt so much over the years.
Been hurt so many times.
Yep.
And it took a lot. It took a lot of Jesus in me to figure out, like, you need to let one in, Abby. Okay, two. That's enough. I've met my quota for the year. They good. We're still in the same seasons. We're fine. But it was an unfair advantage if looking at it on my view, like we've told our kids, I can't fix what I don't know.
Right.
If I've hurt you, give me the opportunity to say sorry.
Absolutely.
Right? Or the opportunity to fix it. Or the opportunity for me to tell you, nah, you still wrong.
Yep.
And let me tell you why. Tell you why. So that was very humbling for me to be like, you know what, I can't just do that to people.
Right.
I do have to speak up because if I was the only person that told them, listen, you being a real a-hole.
Yeah.
And this is how you were being.
Yeah.
And this is why I will not talk to you no longer.
Yeah.
And I hope that it works out for you in the future. Then at least I did my part. And I did my job, right? And
Good day and Godspeed.
Right. And so and let them explain or let them not explain or care or not care.
Yeah.
And I've gained that when I started praying about my friends and started saying, you know what, listen, I'm gonna let you know. And we talked about that. I'm like, you have such a great heart to let people in again. And you know, and she told me, she's like, yeah, because, you know, I don't believe they're the same person. I don't believe this. And then the other friend she let in as well was, you know, she realized, man, it's hard being friends. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like, man, we grow.
Yeah.
We're not, you know, we grow from each other.
Yeah.
And so, but she was like, it was hard being friends. And if it was so hard being friends, then maybe we just don't need to be friends.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And she had to figure that out and learn that. And we were talking through that just the other day too about that. And it's like, man, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it because sometimes you're just not in the same season anymore. And that's okay.
Yep. Yeah,
that's
for
okay.
sure. For sure.
But we have some solids like you know, our friends Jeff and Audrey, and we've been, you know, we posted about them. I met them when we met, but you and Jeffrey have been friends since high school.
Yep.
And you guys have been longtime friends, but we're purposeful about that friendship, and we can go days and months without talking to each other. But we are still within the same, you know, we understand we're in the same boat. We're in the same seasons. We work hard for this because that's something that guys like, man, this is a real, they're real ones.
Yeah.
And it's life-giving.
Yeah.
And vice versa, you know, and it's reciprocated.
Yeah.
And so you really need to work hard for this friendship.
Like if there's an offense to take place or something like that, that's one that you work at and you keep working at.
Yeah.
Like until it gets fixed, resolved or whatever, whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, man, and everything that you said, like one of the things that is big is being able to say no.
Oh my gosh. That's
like,
so hard.
Like the freedom to be able to say no.
Yeah.
At different points, you know, with different people, whoever it is, like whether they're asking you to help or asking for your friendship or asking to be closer in or different things like that. And like you have every right to say no. Like if it's not right for you, if it's not healthy for you, and it's especially looking at things as a married couple and for your family, like, okay, this may be good for me, but is it good for us?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Cause we've gotten into some heavy fights.
Yeah,
over
for sure.
Just a person.
For sure.
Because you felt one way and I felt another. And you know,
and that's the thing. It's when you're doing this as a team.
Yeah.
It's about the team. It's not just about one player on the team. Like I have to think about things from her perspective. She has to think about things from my perspective, and we make decisions based on that. Mm-hmm. Right? It's not just about it's all about me and this is good for me. This is what I want to do. Cool. Like I'm gonna go do it. Like no. So you know when we have some of these relationships, like we really
take the time.
When she says, we talk about it, we pray about it, like we do.
Because I sure do come back to you and be like, listen, I don't know about this person.
Yeah, you sure do.
I don't.
And
I
sometimes
don't think this is the one.
Sometimes my response is like, hey, I think we just need to give a little bit of time, or it may be like, hey, I was already there before you even before you even said anything.
And I think we've been operating that way for so long. We just know now.
Yeah.
Right. Because at the end of the day, you essentially are my best friend. You are the person I live with in and out. You are the one I do life with the most.
Yes.
And who is going to have my back. Right. Yep. And so if we're not agreeing on this person, listen,
Jesus showed me something if I'm missing it, but
I'm going to have to outweigh it. But I listen, 10 out of 10, I'm not going to pick you.
Bet.
I'm going to pick my husband over you.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all the way.
Yeah.
Like we got real estate together. We got kids together. He's been rocking with me longer than you've been in my life.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like Jesus himself said, this is the person I'm supposed to be with until the day I die.
Yeah.
Whether you've been rocking with me longer than him or not. But sometimes it's just not, you're just not in the same place anymore.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Or they just kind of, they can be your friend, but it's just not the same relationship, because you go into marriage and you have your own marriage and you see marriage differently, and I mean there's so many factors, but it's crazy because I mean obviously new year, everybody's making these new resolutions and my IG friend, she had posted too, she's like, man, I'm going into this new year, she had posted that because she's a helper, she's a server, she loves, and she realized the only time you ever called her was when you needed somebody, when you needed fundraising, when you needed a meal, when you needed.
Yep.
Where were you?
Yep.
And if you need that person, go ahead and keep them back in 2021. And I was like, and I messaged her back like, girl, I get it.
Yeah.
We've been there.
Yeah,
and I was like, good for you.
Yeah.
To have the balls to do that, to say, I am done with those type of relationships in my life. Say no, because the freedom that you get out of it, and the people that you shed, out of that, boy, it makes your marriage stronger.
It does, man.
It makes you as an individual more resilient, to a lot, and it does make you put in perspective of, okay, you can't hurt me because you were an acquaintance to begin with.
Man, that's big right there.
There's that.
That's big right there.
Yeah.
It gives you a different perspective, so to protect yourself from getting hurt. Like, hey, cool. If I know up front where we stand, I know we're just surface friends. Bet I'm not gonna get
you a sometimey friend.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get hurt when things go sour or whatever whatnot. Like I fully understand where it's at. Cool. Bet like you just don't. I don't want to say you don't put the same effort into it, but the same feelings and stuff like that aren't out there, aren't exposed when kind of what things look like up front. It's like, cool, that's where you at. That's where we at. Say less. I'm good.
Yeah.
So
that's so true. I mean, we have our friends in Florida. We have been rocking with them for going on 9 years, 8, 9, 10 years now, and we didn't have to be in the same state to be as tight as we are. Yeah. But it was purposeful. It was intentional. Yeah. It was so God driven, and it was something that God said, no, these are people that are going to be huge in your life. Yeah. And you're going to stand with these people. Yeah. And we continue to pray over that. And we continue to say, that reevaluation time of, are these still my friends? Are we still rocking the same way? Are we still, where are they in life? Where are we in life? Are we still the same people? Are we, do we want the same things? Because conversations become different. Life becomes different. The reasons why we do what we do now, the things that we're trying to build in our home in the Duncan house is like, listen, here's where we're trying to go.
Man, I got big dreams.
And I need you to be on board. And if you're not on board, that's cool. That's fine. You ain't got to be on board, but
for sure,
this is where we're going.
Yeah.
This is where we're headed. And we don't feel we have time to waste.
Yeah.
Because we've wasted a lot of time.
Man, ain't that the truth?
We feel like we've wasted a lot of time. And then, we're getting a lot of perspective and a lot of drive of, man, this is where we going. Man,
like I am at that point in my life where it's just, I don't feel I have time to waste, and anything that is a time waster, I'm done. Like anything that is a time waster, I'm over it. Right. Like even, I was talking with a friend of ours the other day about this when I sat down for coffee. It's like, even down to like the social media stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because now, because of this, I see social media differently,
Right.
and I'm having to be on it because of this and checking things and, you know, trying to make connections, whatever, whatnot. When I'm not on social media for this, then I really don't want to be on it.
Yeah.
And just doing the mindless, just flipping and scrolling and flipping and scrolling. And I'm like, any time wasters, I'm just like, because we don't got time to waste anymore.
Yeah.
It's the little things that it's like, I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of that.
I just find I'm just, you know, in a world that we're living with electronics and it's so useful and technology's big, you know, I hate being on my phone. You know that I lose my phone all the time. I leave my phone everywhere, but
oh my gosh,
I'm awful at it. But I got off Facebook years ago, and I refused. And people are like, I can't believe you don't have a Facebook. I refuse to be on it.
Yeah, because it wasn't good for you.
It wasn't good for me. But those were those little moments that I could have been with the kids.
Yep.
Hanging out with them.
Yep.
Whatever. Even not hanging, like sitting with Avi, just sitting down, you know, hanging out. And she's so good about being like, looking at you like, are you on your phone? Are you paying attention? What are we?
She sure will. She sure will. She'll look real closely.
She'll look real close. Like,
she'll even turn your face.
Yeah, turn your face. Tap your stuff. Like, oh my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But it is because you get in this black hole of just scrolling and scrolling and looking and looking. That's what I did on Facebook. One story led to another story, led to somebody else's post, led to me researching for another thing because I didn't know what this meant, and I looked up and half my day was gone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like it's the little things that we've tried to change that I believe are going to make a difference in the long run. I mean, even like when I'm in the car now, I'm not necessarily just listening to music, you know, aimlessly or whatever, whatnot. A lot of time I'm turning a different YouTube video on, whatever, and it's like, okay, what can I learn in the 10 minutes, 15 minutes that I have from drive point A to point B? I just
wow,
like
you good.
I just don't want to waste time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do sometimes.
And when my kids are in the car, I listen to ratchet music.
You know, well, you can do that.
You know,
but
I don't have kids.
But more often than not, I'm trying to find the little things like, where can I be productive? Because I find myself being unproductive with dumb stuff. If that makes sense, it's the little things that make me unproductive versus, you know. I mean, if there's like a big project or something like that, I can get that done. But it's like when you're in the middle of something and then you just, like a squirrel, just get distracted real quick. Yeah. I just don't want to do that no more.
There are those times that you just need to turn off.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we don't because of technology.
Yeah.
We're constantly going, constantly moving, and constantly searching. But there are those times you just need to turn the brain off a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not go like you. I mean, I'm go, just in a whole different way. I just, I'm not listening to a YouTube video like you are, but I'm definitely listening to music.
No, and
me and AV sing on the top of our lungs, and we love it.
There you go. And it's worthwhile.
It is worthwhile.
It's worthwhile. And that's the biggest thing, is not having time wasters. And sometimes people can be those time wasters, and I don't want, like, you don't want your time wasted. I don't want my time wasted. So how about we just
waste each other's time.
Yeah, just save both of our time, and let's just, you know, identify where we're at, you know, what type of friendship it is, what type of relationship it is.
It's not like we sit down to people and be like, hey, so I just want to let you know, you're my acquaintance.
We're not jerks about it or anything like that.
But I know,
you understand where things are.
I know how to respond to you. Yes. I know how far our conversations will go.
Yep.
When to get off the phone, when not to get off the phone. I know how often I'll see you.
Yep.
What I will say yes and no to. I mean, those are created with the boundaries that we're like, hey,
for sure,
these people are, you know, great to see them every now and then, and we know where they are, and these people are, you know, strictly just, we counsel, or these people counsel us, whatever it is, but we counsel, and they just need us for just this, because if we don't, we get engulfed in it, in their mess.
Yes.
And
I don't like drama. I don't like drama, folks. I like drama people. Like,
no.
I don't. I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it at all.
But I want to hear all about it.
No, I don't.
I want to hear, I want to walk you through some things. Like, I want to be there for you. I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
And like, hey, I want to be your, because, you know, maybe you didn't have anybody to vent to.
Yeah.
Or you're not comfortable.
Yeah.
And I want you to know, like, you can be comfortable. Like, it'll be private. I'm never going to tell your business.
Right.
Because you've been hurt by people that have just talked all types of stuff about you, said all types of stuff about you.
Right,
and it's like, man, you need a safe person.
Yeah.
You need a safe space.
Yeah.
And I want to be that for you. So spill the tea. Spill the tea and let me get my popcorn real quick.
Yeah. And a lot of times, like, you know what? You need a safe place. You should go talk to somebody over there.
This person's real good for you.
Yes.
Hey, real good for
I'm man, drama's rough for me because I've so just some of the things that we've been through in the past, I'm very hesitant to step into other people's drama because I don't want to take on their feelings, take on, you know what I mean? So
this also goes for family.
Yeah.
I mean, let's put that in there.
Yeah.
Relationships also include blood relatives.
Yep, absolutely.
Because they can be some toxic people.
Mm-hmm.
That we can't. Those are the people that you can't get rid of a lot of times. Where you're just like, what am I supposed to do?
That's my family. Blah 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 blah.
Oh my gosh! Let me tell y'all something. Sorry. We went 8 years. I don't even think we ever talked about that. I don't think it was. Maybe it was
we didn't go the full story, but
we went 8 years without talking, and I mean, there was a lot of growth between But I'm so thankful where we are. We have talked about that, and there's people in our family we don't talk to.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And I mean, we didn't come back to it.
Yeah.
Because there was no point.
Yeah.
There was no point. There was nothing that was going to come out of this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But that goes for that too. And to be strong enough to be like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll see you around. Just like everybody else.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'll be fine. I'll be fine without you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you will be. And that's tough. And that's, I mean, especially if it's, a sibling, a parent, something like that. Like, people, trust me, like, we get it. I get it. When she's talking about 8 years, for those of y'all don't know, like, there was a big falling out between me and my sister. And this is like blood sister, first sister, whatever, whatnot, a couple years older than me. And there's a big falling out between our families. We went 8 years without talking, without speaking. But man, I'm so thankful that during that time, there was so much growth that happened on her side, on my side, just maturity that took place, and we were able to reconcile and come back together. And our relationship is super great now.
Oh my gosh,
super strong now. Yeah. Love them dearly with all my heart.
Had we not had, I hate that it was so long, but had we had not had the break, I don't think our marriage would have grown.
Yeah.
We would have figured out how to be husband and wife.
Yeah, we changed a lot in that time period.
We changed a lot because you relied on them a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and I didn't have family the same way. So, I wanted a sister. I wanted somebody. You grew up with her.
Yeah.
I wanted the same thing. I wanted to be able to be like, man, I'm close to my in-laws.
Yeah.
That's like, I think that's, I'm sure every dream in any marriage is.
That's the goal.
The goal is to have in-laws that you love.
Yeah, for sure.
And that you're like, you just jump in and you're part of the family.
Yeah, don't miss a beat.
Right.
And that's what it is now.
It is. And it definitely is. I love my sister-in-laws, man. My sister-in-laws are great. But it took growth. Your other sister was gone, so we were closest to the second oldest, and that was hard. That was hard to let go of. That was hard to walk through as a marriage.
Yeah, it was real tough on us.
That tore us quite a bit.
Yep, because we went back and forth a long time.
Oh my gosh, but having the understanding of, okay, I understand why you're hurt, but hey, please hear me where I stand, and standing in your marriage, and boundaries for your marriage, and then being able to be like, okay, we're in a healthy place. Yep. And that was something that, God brought back together. We definitely didn't. Yeah. It definitely wasn't us, because we thought that was done. Yeah. But we had to grow. We had to learn to be husband and wife. We had to learn who we were, what we were going to individually stand for and respect out of one another. Yeah. And then come back and say, okay, we're a united front, because we were not.
Yeah, no, not even close.
For a very long time.
Not even close, man. So many things changed over that time period. And there's this book that I'm trying to.
Is it the Boundaries book?
Yes. Okay. So I'm trying to see the author of it. So the authors of these books are Henry Cloud and John Townsend, and there's a bunch of different ones, but here's a little recommendation real quick. But there's boundaries in marriage, there's boundaries with your kids, there's boundaries. They have all different topics that they hit on, but boundaries in different types of relationships. Man, I would recommend these books. Huge. We've read through quite a few of them. Boundaries in leadership. We've read through the boundaries in marriage one.
It's a quick read too.
Yeah,
it's
they're
not hard.
Easy read. Henry Cloud, John Townsend, Boundaries. Definitely check them out. But
man, I encourage you to talk to your partner.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk about, because I don't think it's ever really talked about, right? Like you have your friends. Oh, that's somebody they knew.
You know, when we counsel people, that's a big thing that comes up is I don't like her friends. I think they're bad for her, or I don't like his friends. And a
lot of times they had these friends before they were together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're on the outside, but you're on the outside looking in, seeing how,
but that whole,
you affect one another.
When you leave one and you cling to this one, like that's that's for first priority. That's got to change things.
That does. And so it's, I encourage you to talk to your, it's interesting, the conversations that come out of it. Like, hey, what do you think about?
Oh yeah.
What do you think about such and such?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What do you think about them as a couple? And those conversations get real quick. And it's like, I didn't think you felt like this about this person, but you on the outside say, hey, have you ever looked at how they treated you or how? But hey, this is what
I see.
This is what I see. Yeah. This is what they do day to day, and when you around them, this is how you. And man, that changes some things. It's like, wait a minute, what you been seeing?
Yeah.
And so conversations get real, but it brings you closer into understanding. Man, listen, this is your best friend right here.
Yep.
This person right next to you that you're talking about.
Yep.
Is you had your forever friend, you have your forever girlfriend. I get that, but this is the one person that's gonna. Literally you sleep with.
Yeah, absolutely.
You literally sleep with day in and day out that knows you the most.
Yes, absolutely.
And so conversations get real. And it's interesting. It's interesting to see, and then it's interesting to, out of that, you find out, where you guys are kind of drawn to. Where you're driven, like what's driving you in your marriage and where you guys are going, your goals in life, and where that one person may be. And it's like, man, I don't think I ever thought about that.
I'm gonna let you know something.
What?
We got another 40-minute show.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
you're getting longer, even though you're trying not to.
You're getting longer.
We are.
The questions.
We are
getting longer.
We are getting longer. There you go.
We'll keep it at 30. We're sorry, y'all.
There you go. But we've come to the end of another one. Please, as always, you know the stuff.
Like,
yeah. I told you we support ourselves, so we gotta pay the promoters, and that's us. So, man, if you're finding value, that's what it is, man. If you're finding value in what we're talking about and the content that we're bringing, and please let us know. It helps when you follow. It helps when you watch. It helps when you subscribe. But we want to know what you guys think too. When you guys comment, like we read each and every one of those. We talk about them, and we want to make sure we're continuing to bring content to you that you value. So and
thank you for downloading, man.
Yes, we crossed over 100 downloads on the podcast side. We've crossed over 400 views on the channel side.
Who's like watching or who's just listening?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times I'm like, I wish you'd see my reaction, because you're just watching, because there's those blank moments in our podcast.
Yep.
That we're making faces. So they don't really know what's going on a lot of times. I
get listening on the go, but sometimes the facial reactions, it's interesting. I make a lot of them. So. And there you go. She made another one if you're listening. So anyway, thank you. Thank you for all that are listening. Thank you for all that are watching. We greatly appreciate you guys. But with that, we're done with another one. We'll check you on the next one.
Is that your new thing now?
I don't know.
Another one.
Goodbye.